What's up, everybody? Leviticus here, and we're back with another scary-ass video about the shit disturbing on CCTV. Alright? So, hell, if you haven't done it yet, hit that sub and subscribe, and let's get into it. Alright? Hell, sit your butts down, grab a drink, get some Marine Corps motivational juice. Woo-hoo! I might have had some of this before. We're going crazy today. Woo! Let's do it. Oh, shit. Now, these are going to be real stories, all right? Hell, let's see how fucking crazy people are.
Echoes call from hollow halls, a voice that creeps and softly crawls. Time stands still, the air is...
On September 26, 2011, at 10:22 p.m., security cameras at Simon Fraser University in Surrey, British Columbia, captured 19-year-old Maple Battaglia walking through campus corridors, smiling and laughing with a friend. And if you did not know the story, you would have assumed it was just another student leaving a late study session. Maple was not just any student. She carried a perfect academic record. She aimed for medical school,
good for you, dude.
And she even had a growing acting career. The kind of future that made a family feel like every sacrifice was finally paying off, especially because her parents had moved from India to build a better life.
Hell
and
yeah!
They named her Maple as a tribute to Canada and what it represented to them.
If somebody hurts this fucking girl, I swear to God, I'm gonna fucking destroy you.
But behind that calm footage, a relationship that had already turned into obsession, Maple had dated her ex-boyfriend, Gary Dollywall, and after she ended the relationship when she discovered he had been cheating, his behavior escalated into stalking, including over 2,000 calls to Maple's phone. Days before her death, a Tim Hortons cafe incident showed just how volatile that obsession had become. Maple sat with her longtime friend Diltaj Dillon when Gary reportedly stormed in, saw them together, and even took a swing at Dillon. And although the confrontation ended without the worst happening right there, it left a warning sign on camera, a sign that later felt impossible to ignore. To calm the situation, Maple escorted Gary to the parking lot, entered his car, and they both drove away. Then the story took a turn that made it feel planned, rather than impulsive. On September 25, 2011, at around 10 a.m., two men walked into an Avis rental car location. Security cameras captured them clearly.
Yeah, they're already acting sus. They're walking it all fucking slow, hands in pockets and shit. Shit, if I was working at that store, I'd ought to be reaching for my damn gun and be like, I know what you're fucking trying to do. Get the fuck out, because I'm a better shot than you. Oh shit, I rhymed. Hell yeah!
And the man who rented a white Dodge Charger was Gersa Marbetti, a 20-year-old student at the same university, while Gary stayed back near the entrance. The car was rented to create distance, an attempt to avoid direct connection to what was about to happen. On the evening of September 26th, Maple went to study at the university library. She arrived around 10 p.m. She studied, she laughed with classmates, and nothing in her body language suggested she sensed danger.
Yeah, how would she? People are fucking crazy.
But the parking cameras captured a white Dodge Charger entering at 8:07 p.m., nearly 2 hours before Maple even arrived. The car circled, parked, and waited. And the waiting was what made it so chilling, because it suggested patience, intent, and planning. When the library closed, Maple left with 3 male friends, including Dylan, and they walked together toward the parking garage, relaxed and unaware. And this was where CCTV became a cruel twist instead of a safe.
Damn, it seems like nobody else is there. They closed the motherfucker out or what?
Safety net, because one camera captured the group and then automatically swiveled away on its preset rotation at the worst possible moment. And by the time it rotated back, the critical moment was gone. Shortly after, 911 calls reported gunshots near the parking structure. Police rushed in. Sergeant Kevin Jeffrey arrived and found Maple critically injured. She was still alive when paramedics got her to the hospital, but she later died from her injuries. And the file described the family's grief as immediate and overwhelming.
Sorry, dude.
The kind that did not fit inside a courtroom.
You didn't deserve
Investigators reviewed hours of video to rebuild a timeline. Detective Adam McIntosh worked through the footage, and perimeter cameras later showed a white Dodge Charger speeding away around the time the 911 call started. The license plate was too blurry, but earlier...
I bet his license plate said pussy. That's what I think. I'm pretty sure it said P-U-S-S-I-E. Is that how you spell it? Fucking pussy.
Footage had already shown the same car entering and waiting, and police later traced the vehicle through rental agencies back to Avis. And the rental office footage placed both Gersimer Betty and Gary in the story. Arrests came on December 1st, 2012, and Gary confessed early, describing a motive rooted in jealousy and entitlement. And the case then shifted into a second heartbreak, because what happened in court left people furious. Gersimer Betty, described as an accomplice, who rented the car and helped track Maple, received 22 months and was released early after about 18 months.
Well, hold on. There's a reason for that, right? If he didn't shoot, he didn't kill nobody, but he was like, listen, you give me a less sentence and I will bury Gary in the fucking yard. All right? Gary's gonna get buried. All right? Hell.
While Gary's conviction was reduced to second-degree murder on March 3rd, 2016, through a plea bargain like a little bitch, making him eligible for parole after 20 for Maple's family. The idea that the person responsible could someday apply for freedom, while Maple stayed 19 forever, felt like a second loss. Sat at number 1 was simple. CCTV captured a smiling student in a hallway. Then it captured the car that waited, and it even captured the escape. But the most important second still happened in a blind spot. And that was the nightmare thread that carried into the next cases, because sometimes the camera did not fail. It captured everything. And what it captured was betrayal. And if number 1 showed what happened when obsession turned into planning, the next story showed what happened when a person tried to erase someone in plain sight. What? With cameras watching the whole time.
Erase somebody? Shit.
Before we continue, I just want to say thank you.
No, thank you.
Nightmare Feelings crossed over 187,000 subscribers in...
Hell yeah. Good for you. If you hadn't done it yet, get over there and hit that sub and like, all right? Shit.
2025.
I did.
And that's all because of you. Every single view, like, and share means the world to me. From the bottom of my heart, thank you. This year, we're setting our sights on 250,000 before April 2026. So if you enjoy these videos and haven't subscribed yet, now's the perfect time.
Don't worry there, Nightmare Feelings. I'm going to get there in like 3 fucking days.
Let's grow this together.
All right, hell yeah.
Now back to the video. Jolene Cummings was a devoted mother.
Holy shit. She looks like a friend I had in high school. Holy goddamn. A spitting fucking image. If I didn't give a shit about people and whatnot, I'd probably throw a picture up there of my old friend so you can see what it looks like. But damn, it's fucking uncanny.
The kind of person who centered her life around her children, which was why it raised alarms when she failed to show up for a scheduled custody exchange on May 13th, 2018, Mother's Day, because vanishing without a call or message was completely out of character, especially on a day tied to family. Her mother reported her missing the next day. Investigators went to the hair salon where Jolene worked, and they learned she had last been seen on May 12th closing the salon with a coworker. That coworker was identified as Jennifer Marie Seibert, and from the start, her responses raised suspicion. She claimed she could not help with an investigation because she was being stalked by an ex-boyfriend and was keeping a low profile. She claimed she barely knew Jolene, then she abruptly quit her job. And in cases like this, the moment someone disappeared from the workplace was often the moment investigators decided they were not looking at a random disappearance anymore. 2 days later, on May 15th, Jolene's SUV was found abandoned in a Home Depot parking lot. Surveillance footage showed a woman driving it, parking it, and walking away, and that woman was identified as Jennifer. Around the same time, the CCTV caught her getting rid of trash bags after Jolene was reported missing. And suddenly, CCTV was not just a background detail. It was a trail, and each clip was like a door closing behind Jolene. A warrant was obtained for grand theft auto, but Jennifer could not be found. And using prior record and cell phone data, deputies located her in the early hours of May 17th, asleep inside a black Kia Soul, and arrested her without incident. And that was when the interrogation opened up a completely different kind of disturbing, because she told detectives her real name was Kimberly Lee Kessler.
Bitch.
She also claimed that she had been running from the FBI for over 25 years, living under an alias since 1999. She was someone who had lived under a rotating set of false identities for decades, using aliases across many cities and states,
Who the fuck is this
maintaining
damn
those
girl?
identities with fake documents, and when arrested, officers found multiple IDs and disguise items, including wigs, suggesting she was prepared to disappear again. The identity twist turned even darker when she used a name that belonged to a real woman who had died years earlier, which meant this was not just someone lying about their past. It was someone building a life on top of another person's identity. Then the evidence chain tightened. Surveillance footage showed Kimberly at a Walmart shortly after Jolene disappeared, purchasing cleaning supplies including bleach and a carving knife. Another camera captured her later struggling to dispose of 2 large white trash bags in a dumpster behind the salon on May 12th. And inside the salon, investigators used luminol and found extensive blood evidence.
You killed her there?
With DNA confirming it belonged to both Jolene and Kimberly, suggesting a violent confrontation. And officers later documented injuries on Kimberly consistent with signs that Jolene fought back. Investigators also searched Kimberly's residence and found more, including blood evidence on...
Hey, food for thought. If shit ever goes down and bad shit, I hope to God it never happens to you. But if bad things like this happen, you think you're gonna die, you scratch, kick, punch, grab, eat. All right? Hell yeah. I know if I'm going down, your balls are coming with me. All right? I will eat those motherfuckers on my way out. Hell yeah.
Items and one of Jolene's acrylic nails. And with every piece, the story became less about a missing person.
These are the least city cops I've ever seen in my life.
That CCTV kept puncturing. There was also a workplace tension detail that sharpened the motive theory investigators leaned toward. Employees said Jolene had confronted Kimberly the day before she vanished, allegedly saying, "You are not who you say you are," and investigators believed that exposure may have been the trigger. Because for someone living behind stolen identities, being unmasked was not just embarrassing, it was catastrophic. After a 2-week trial in December 2021, the jury found Kimberly guilty, and on January 27, 2022, she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the murder, along with a concurrent sentence for vehicle theft. And while the courtroom outcome created closure on paper, CCTV left viewers with a different kind of closure, the kind where you could still picture the SUV being parked, the person walking away, and the trash bags being carried out as if it was just another chore.
This stupid bitch.
In Bradford, UK, a man was forcibly taken from the street in an abduction that led to a significant police operation.
Holy shit.
And the most unsettling part was how the case began with the kind of public setting people usually trusted. Because when something happened in daylight, people assumed someone would intervene, someone would record, someone would stop it. But the victim was still taken. The man was being transported to a local residence where he was held against his will, while his family received communication from the captors demanding a ransom payment for his safe release. And that single detail...
Get a fucking job, you fucking losers. Hell, it's not that hard. Go down to the goddamn 7-Eleven, like, can I get a job? They'll probably hire your ass. Fuck. Earn money the real way, in the right way, you sons of bitches.
Shifted the crime from abduction to hostage situation. Because it meant the family was now trapped in a second prison, one built out of fear, uncertainty, and the pressure of time. What came next was the response that separated this case from others. Armed police officers located the address where the victim was being held and executed a successful intervention, securing the man's freedom without serious physical injury to any parties involved. And even though that outcome sounded like relief, it still left a lingering question, because the terror of being held did not disappear the moment the door opened. 3 individuals were convicted and sentenced. Jarrow Smith
I'm telling you, I'm going down swinging. Like I said, you're nuts. They might be in my mouth, but I'm gonna eat them.
Gardner, Zari Jackson Birch, and Shanky Smith Gardner, each receiving prison terms for charges including false imprisonment and blackmail, and the case highlighted the coordinated efforts of West Yorkshire Police Specialist Units in responding to organized criminal activity involving hostage situations. This case earned its place because it captured a kind of fear that felt universal, The fear that a public street could become a stage for something extreme, and that the family would be forced to negotiate with people who had already shown they were willing to take someone by force. And just when you thought danger was only in the streets, the next case made it personal, because it showed what happened when the person who looked like they belonged in a care facility used that trust as a disguise.
Fuck, that brings me to that. Have you guys seen that goddamn Netflix special about the damn nurse that killed all those people? Like they're saying like over 30 people. What a crazy fucker.
Bergen Pena was a 25-year-old hospice nurse assistant. She walked into the Kingston resident assisted living facility on her day off, pretended to sign in like it was just another shift,
you're gonna fuck
then
with old
moved
people?
through the building the way a staff member would. Calm, familiar, unbothered, but the camera showed her checking doors, letting herself into resident rooms, and taking items that should never have been within anyone's reach, except the people who owned them. Police said she did it repeatedly, and the list of what disappeared made it feel even worse, because it was not just money and jewelry. It was narcotics too, medication that residents needed, medication tied to health, stability, and sometimes survival, and that detail changed the story from simple theft to something that felt like exploitation. She blended in so well that if you passed her in the hallway, you might not have looked twice. She wore scrubs, she moved like she belonged, and at one point, she was even seen pushing a wheelchair and speaking with people in the halls, which created a disturbing contrast because she looked helpful on one camera angle, then looked calculated on the next, slipping into rooms when she thought no one was watching. It felt like a performance, and the most chilling part of a performance was how natural it looked, because it suggested she knew exactly how to appear normal while doing something wrong. People often imagine crimes like this happened in moments of desperation, but this did not feel desperate. It felt deliberate, old people, man, like someone testing how far the system could be bent before anyone noticed. In a place like an assisted living facility, residents could misplace items, or family members could assume a missing necklace was tucked away for safekeeping. But the moment multiple people started reporting missing belongings, the pressure built, because the building's entire promise was safety. The executive director noted that the security system helped catch the thief, and residents were thankful the cameras exposed what was happening. But gratitude came with a bitter edge, because the footage also proved something unsettling. The threat had been walking the halls the entire time, wearing the right clothes and using the right behavior to look harmless. Police arrested Pena and charged her with multiple counts of burglary, and the material said she was out on bond. While investigators looked into another similar burglary at a different facility, which widened the fear beyond one building, because if it happened here, it could have happened elsewhere. And if it happened elsewhere, it meant this was not an isolated lapse in judgment, it was a pattern. The case forced a question that never felt comfortable. What happened to a person's sense of safety when the person who was supposed to protect them was the one violating that protection? Even after an arrest, even after charges, people did not automatically feel safe again, because the fear was not only about one suspect, it was about how easy it looked. She did not rush, she did not hide her face, she did not act like she was doing something dangerous. And that calmness was what made it so disturbing, because it suggested she believed the system would not catch her. Or worse, she believed the residents could not. And just when you thought this kind of betrayal was the darkest thing CCTV could reveal, the next case made fear feel even closer, because it happened at a front door, the place where safety was supposed to begin.
Good luck at my front door, bitches. You'll be met with a shotgun.
The woman was working from home when her dog suddenly began barking in a way she had never heard before. Loud, frantic, almost panicked, and those dogs may have been the only reason she survived what happened next. At first, she assumed it was nothing more than a delivery or someone passing by, but then her phone lit up with a motion notification from her doorbell camera, and when she opened the live feed, what she saw immediately replaced confusion with fear. A man stood at her front door, holding what appeared to be a bottle, with a rag sticking out of the top, and instead of knocking or leaving a package, he bent down and began spreading something at the base of the door.
Are you gonna light her fucking house on fire? You cockbag. You little bitch-ass motherfucker.
In that moment, everything shifted, because the camera was not capturing a visitor, it was capturing intent. Within seconds, smoke appeared.
I knew it.
First thin and curling, then thicker, and the outer wall,
How dare
the door,
you?
and the welcome mat began to scorch. She was shocked to her bones.
I'm sorry,
she understood
my dear.
immediately
Hell.
that if the fire spread inward or blocked her exit, she could be trapped inside her own home, and that thought alone was enough to push her into action. She said
Good
she
for
rushed
you.
to put out the flames, managing to stop the fire within minutes. But even after the flames were gone, the adrenaline did not leave her body, and she later admitted that she feared she would not be alive to tell the story if her pets had not started barking when
so
they did.
sorry,
That
dude.
detail stayed with viewers more than anything else, because it showed how close the situation came.
Hell, I got 2 dogs, a shotgun, and 3 assault rifles, and 2 handguns, all right? Hell, come get you some, motherfucker.
To turning into something far worse. If the dogs had stayed quiet, if the motion notification had gone unnoticed, if she had been in another room or wearing headphones, the outcome might have been very different. Instead, a simple alert became the difference between a frightening incident and a potentially fatal one. She said she had no idea who the man was or why anyone would want to harm her, which made the situation even more unsettling, because there was no argument, no known conflict,
Who was
no
you
warning
guys?
signs that
Who the
someone
fuck
might
was this
target her.
motherfucker?
It felt random, and when something felt random, it made people question how safe they really were inside their own homes. The footage showed the suspect approaching with purpose, not hesitation, not confusion, and that level of confidence made it seem like this was not an impulsive act. He appeared to know
Obviously
exactly
not.
what he was
Shit.
doing, exactly where to
You knew this
stand,
person?
and exactly how to move without drawing attention beyond the camera itself. Once the fire began to take hold, he left the scene, disappearing as quickly as he had arrived, leaving behind scorched material and a homeowner trying to understand why she had just been
Your
targeted.
face is caught all over
DeKalb
camera.
County Police launched an investigation,
Idiot.
and DeKalb County Fire treated the situation as a case of arson. But even with authorities involved, the emotional impact lingered far beyond the physical damage. The woman described how the experience changed her perception
She was
of
targeted
safety,
for sure.
because before that day, a front door represented security, privacy, and separation from the outside world. This case stood out because it highlighted how quickly an ordinary day could shift into a life-threatening situation without warning. One moment she was working from home, surrounded by normal routines,
Still getting
and
over
the
getting
next
sick.
moment she was confronting an act designed to harm or intimidate her in the place she felt safest. It forced viewers to confront a difficult thought, that danger did not always announce itself with noise or confrontation. Sometimes it arrived quietly,
Just imagine if
carrying
she
a
didn't have
bottle
a
and a
camera.
flame,
What the fuck?
captured only because a small camera
Or
happened to be
dogs.
watching. And if this case made people uneasy about what could happen at their own front door, the next story pushed that fear beyond individual homes and into a place meant to represent peace and sanctuary.
You know,
Because
fuck with people
sometimes
at
the most
church.
disturbing footage came from locations people believed were protected from harm. Surveillance video showed someone lighting the 2 front doors on fire just after 1:30 in the morning, and even without
What the
graphic
fuck?
detail,
Why?
the act carried weight because of where it happened. This was not an abandoned building or a random structure tucked away from public view. It was a church, a place people associated with peace, safety, and routine
what the fuck are you
gatherings
doing?
that rarely carried any sense of danger. When footage like this surfaced, the shock did not come only from the flames. It came from the realization that a space
shit
meant
went
for
right
comfort
up.
had
Holy
been
moly.
deliberately targeted in the quiet hours of the night. The video began with the suspect walking
He
through the
walked right
parking lot
fucking in there
toward
with
the
a-
entrance,
Damn,
moving with a steady
he's on a
pace
mission.
that suggested familiarity with the layout. He carried what looked
I wouldn't say familiarity with the fucking layout. He walked right goddamn from the street in. It's not like he detoured and went to some secret fucking area. But he was on a mission. Like, he knew what the fuck he was doing. There's a reason for it.
like a red gas can, and there was no sign of hesitation in his movement.
Correct.
When he reached the front doors, he poured liquid across the entrance, coating the base of both doors in a way that suggested planning rather than impulse. He bent down.
Well, you're not going to walk a fucking, however long you walk with a goddamn gas can full of fucking gas and just be like, I'm going to turn here and I'm going to light this motherfucking house on fire. I feel like
Lit a fire in front of one door, then moved to the second and did the same, and within moments flames began to rise against the entrance.
I hope
It was
you
a
got fucking
methodical
lit on fire.
sequence,
Stupid
one
little
step
bitch.
followed by the next, until something unexpected interrupted the routine. In a detail that felt almost unreal,
His
the
shoes get
suspect
caught on
accidentally lit his own shoes on fire. For a
Dang.
brief second, the deliberate act turned chaotic as he reacted, stomping out the flames on his footwear before running off into the darkness.
Damn, we can't get
that
lucky,
moment
can
did
we?
not
Shit.
erase what he had done, but it created a strange contrast. A person capable of setting fire to a building yet briefly undone by his own mistake. It lasted only seconds, but it was enough to remind viewers that even carefully planned actions could unravel in unpredictable ways. The pastor later spoke about the incident and expressed confusion more than anything else. He said the church had no known enemies in the area, no ongoing disputes that would explain such an act, and that absence of motive lingered heavily over the case. When a building was targeted without a clear reason, it left space for speculation. Was it personal, random, symbolic, or simply destructive for the sake of it? Without answers, the incident felt more unsettling because it suggested that sometimes harm came without warning or explanation. For the congregation and community, the question of why became just as important as the question of who. The damage remained concentrated around the entrance, leaving burn marks and smoke stains that served as visible reminders of what had happened.
That's good. It wasn't
the doors
like
were
they must have
replaced the
caught it
same
early,
day,
so that's good.
restoring the physical barrier that had been damaged. But the sense of safety attached to that entrance was not something that could be repaired as quickly. People could install new doors and repaint the walls, but rebuilding the feeling that the building was untouched by danger took far longer, if it ever fully returned. Deputies began searching for the arsonist, reviewing footage and asking the public for information that might help identify the suspect. The pastor expressed hope that someone would recognize the individual captured on camera and come forward, because in cases like this, the footage alone often needed the public's help to turn images into answers. This was where the theme running through all these cases became clear again. CCTV did its job. It recorded the act, it captured the suspect's movements, and it preserved the sequence of events in a way that could not be denied. Yet even with clear footage, there was still uncertainty about whether it would be enough to prevent something similar from happening again. The incident also shifted how people thought about places they considered safe. A church was often seen as a refuge, somewhere separate from the kind of risks associated with busy streets or late-night businesses. Seeing flames at its entrance challenged that assumption and forced people to acknowledge that no space was entirely immune to being targeted. It was not just about one building or one night. It was about how quickly a sense of security could be shaken when something unexpected occurred in a place that symbolized calm. And as unsettling as this case felt, the next one moved away from fire and into a different kind of danger altogether. Instead of a quiet parking lot and a late-night blaze, the following story unfolded inside a small store where seconds determined who walked out and who did not, and where a confrontation caught on camera turned into a moment that could have ended very differently. The footage showed a gunman entering a gas station around 9:30 p.m., holding his right hand out of sight, and the clerk noticed that detail immediately, because it was not just body language, it was a warning. The clerk reached for a gun already in his back pocket.
Hell, defend yourself!
Pulled out his weapon,
defend your fucking property!
And demanded money. And later the clerk said it felt like do it or die. He said he did not think about it.
Hell yeah.
Because in his mind it was him or me.
If I didn't do it first, it was me. It was him or me. I mean, I didn't have choice.
The owner explained why the store even had a gun. He said the store had been robbed 3 times the year before, and after turning over money again and again, he had enough and started keeping a gun in the store. And that context mattered, because it showed how repeated victimization could push ordinary people into dangerous choices. The alleged gunman, Emmanuel Ham, showed up at a hospital with a gunshot wound to his hand and ended up in custody. The clerk said his first thought was his children, and he even expressed sympathy, saying maybe the gunman had kids, which made the aftermath feel complicated, because even when someone believed they had no choice, they still carried the weight of what happened. Ham was charged with aggravated robbery and was expected to be arraigned in court, and the clip stayed disturbing because it was not just a robbery video. It was a pressure cooker moment, where a hidden hand changed everything, and it reminded people that survival decisions happened faster than morals could catch up. And if that was intense, the final case was worse in a different way.
Hell yeah.
Because it was not one person making a split-second choice. It was multiple people turning.
What the fuck kind of hairstyle is this? You got 3 little hairs on the top of your fucking head? What kind of fucking hairstyle is that shit?
Turning a public gas station into a shooting scene near fuel pumps, and the near miss.
All right, so there's a guy going around the outside, and there's a guy going from the front. It's called the flank maneuver, and your motherfucker's ass is about to get shot.
Details made it feel like disaster was only inches away. At first glance, it looked like a routine evening at a busy fuel station. People moving in and out, cars parked at pumps, employees inside working through another shift. Nothing about the environment suggested what would unfold next. Yet within minutes, the ordinary setting transformed into a scene of chaos captured entirely on surveillance.
This guy's about to back up just right into a car, bro. Pay fucking attention. Shit.
The incident began earlier with two groups involved in a verbal altercation near the store and a car positioned by one of the pumps. One of the men pulled out a long gun. The presence of a weapon did not immediately lead to shots being fired. And for a second, it seemed like the situation might dissolve into nothing more than raised voices and tense stares. But instead of ending there, the confrontation continued to escalate, and the tension moved with the men as they walked away from the initial argument. Surveillance videos showed one group moving toward the back of the parking lot, while the other followed behind. The movement alone suggested unfinished business, and within moments of the two groups approaching each other again, shots rang out. The footage captured people reacting instantly, diving for cover, ducking behind structures, trying to avoid being caught in the path of bullets. One man had to jump out of the way and hit the ground as a shot came dangerously close, scrambling to position himself behind the wall to avoid being struck. The speed at which everything unfolded left no room for hesitation, because once the first shot was fired, survival became the only priority. According to the official report, no one was injured or killed in the incident, a fact that felt almost unbelievable considering the proximity of the gunfire and the environment in which it occurred. Yet the absence of physical injuries did not mean the situation left no impact. Days later, the evidence of what happened remained visible. Bullet holes marked surfaces, shattered glass reflected the aftermath, and employees carried the emotional weight of having witnessed something that could have ended far differently. Some workers chose to leave their jobs altogether, unwilling to continue working in a place where violence had erupted so suddenly. Assistant manager Mohammed Abdul Rahman said he had seen dangerous situations before, but he emphasized that the violence needed to stop. Friday night, where South African rapper AKA and his close associate were out having dinner. Nothing in the environment suggested immediate danger. It looked like a typical evening. People moving in and out of restaurants, vehicles parked nearby, conversations happening as usual. But the cameras had already begun recording movements that only made sense after everything happened. One of the shooters appeared across the road from the restaurant where AKA and his friends were dining, positioning himself at a distance that allowed him to observe without drawing attention. The second individual appeared closer to AKA's vehicle and stood near a pole, waiting. That detail alone created a chilling picture, because it suggested this was not spontaneous. It suggested coordination, patience, and awareness of timing.
Knew he was going to be there.
Both individuals remained in place, blending into the environment, while waiting for the exact moment their target would step outside. When AKA and his group eventually exited the restaurant, the scene shifted instantly. The first shooter left his position across the street, crossed the road, and approached from behind. The movement looked deliberate and direct. He moved around a vehicle and sprinted toward AKA, closing distance quickly before opening fire at close range. The speed of the attack left little time for anyone nearby to react. Within seconds, the situation transformed from a normal public outing into chaos captured entirely on camera. After firing, the first shooter fled in the same direction he had approached from, disappearing from the immediate frame. But what made the footage even more disturbing was the second shooter's involvement. On closer inspection of the CCTV, the second individual, who had been waiting near the vehicle, drew a weapon as the first attacker moved in. As shots were fired at AKA, the second shooter also fired toward the group from a short distance away. The coordination between the two movements created the impression of a planned ambush, rather than an attacker acting
it definitely
alone.
was.
After firing, the second shooter fled alongside the first, both moving away from the scene in the same direction. The presence of two attackers altered how viewers interpreted the footage. Instead of a sudden confrontation, the sequence suggested preparation and positioning before the moment of attack. One person monitored from across. The final case brought everything back to a setting that appeared ordinary at first glance. A gas station in Atlanta, people coming and going, vehicles pulling in and out, a routine scene that played out countless times every day. But the surveillance footage captured a sequence that turned that normal environment into a flashpoint of sudden violence. The video showed a man walking out of the store while another individual followed behind him, with a weapon visible at his waistband. At first it looked like two people simply leaving the same location. Then the situation escalated quickly.
Damn.
The first man reached his vehicle and retrieved what was described as an AK-style pistol from inside. Within moments, both individuals began firing at each other. The exchange happened so quickly that bystanders had little time to process what was unfolding around them. CCTV captured bullets striking windshields and vehicles in the vicinity. Glass shattered.
Just like fucking
People moved erratically, trying to avoid the line of fire. What made the scene even more alarming was the presence of others who had nothing to do with the confrontation. A woman emerged holding her shoulder after being struck during the exchange. A reminder that violence in public spaces rarely affects only those directly involved. Her condition was not immediately known, but the visual of an uninvolved person caught in the crossfire reinforced how unpredictable such incidents could become. Police began investigating the incident, and despite the clarity of the footage, no immediate arrests were reported at the time.
Well, hell. All right, that's the video for today. I hope you guys liked it, and if you did, you know, bless us with a like and subscribe. All right, we're trying to hit 500 subs and then down to 1,000. All right, that's what we're going to do. So we'll see you on the next one. Pew, 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 pew.